Overall spending more than $850 billion this holiday season. So are these sales figures a better gauge of the strength of the economy than the markets have been? Joining us now to discuss is former Walmart CEO Bill Simon. Bill, great to see you. Happy holidays. Now, there's a lot of talk about recession. I have never seen sales like this right before a recession. Have you?
No, definitely not. I mean, the U.S. is still a consumer-driven economy, and the consumer is very happy right now. You said in your last segment, jobs are plentiful, wages are increasing, for the first time in a while, and the consumer is very, very happy, as witnessed by, very strong Christmas retail sales.
Hey, Bill, it's terrific to have you on the show. Happy holidays to you. Retail sales have come out, and they've been very good. Consumer confidence, albeit a backward-looking indicator, is at an 18-year high. And as you mentioned, we have full employment, wages are increasing, gas prices being low. The question is, what happens next? What happens next quarter? There's obviously a global slowdown happening, and it appears that the U.S. is headed for a slowdown as well. Do you see that same slowdown coming in the U.S., particularly in retail sales? And if you do, how bad do you think it will be?
Yeah, I think it's going to, the growth rate will slow, but it won't slow to anything that is going to be a problematic. I mean, we were growing at 4% last year GDP. Some of the quarters will be 2.5%, and I think that'll be plenty. The consumer can pull us through. I think if we can manage to stay out of our own way and not Chicken Little ourselves, the sky's falling to death. I think the consumer will be buoyant, and the consumer can pull us through whatever the global slowdown impact might be.
So, Bill, I wonder if a question more relevant to Walmart stores in particular, tariffs. If we actually see the president put that 25% tariff on so many Chinese goods, which he tells us he doesn't want to see happen, he's trying to work that out. Isn't that a bigger threat to a store like Walmart than anything we're seeing in the economy?
Well, I mean, just to be clear, 2/3 of what Walmart sells is either, manufactured or grown in the U.S. So it'll have an impact on about 1/3 of their products that are imported, and only a portion of that from China, and then only the part of the cost of goods where the tariff is where the cost will be, where the price increases will be. So it will have an impact on the consumer, but it's not a 25% increase or as devastating an increase as you might think it would be. But I am probably like David, hopeful that it'll get resolved. I think there's enough incentive to both parties to get this thing solved in one form or fashion in the coming months.
Hey, Bill, this is Morgan. What do you think about the mountain of consumer debt that we're seeing piling up? And it is rather significant. Do you think that debt will cause any sort of slowdown in consumer spending in 2019, or are you not yet worried about consumer debt?
Yeah, hi, Morgan. I think consumer debt's a problem, but not a problem in the midterm, probably more of a problem in the long term. It takes a while to get to to have the cumulative effect to slow down the economy from a consumer perspective. As long as wages keep going up, the consumer can afford to take a little bit more debt, and I think that's what we'll see through 2019. Beyond that, it'll be hard to say.
What about the news itself, Bill? I mean, excepting Fox Business, of course, we don't do anything that gets consumers nervous, but there is a lot of nerve-rattling news that's been coming out. Earlier in the week, we had this phone call that Steve Mnuchin made to the bank. Some people kind of panicked on that. I mean, does all this negative news, and of course the media hate Trump, and so there's more than our share these days, does that affect consumers?
I don't think it has yet, but I think it could. The cumulative effect of bad news, it could have an effect on the consumers. Look, we sit here on these programs and we struggle to explain why the market was down 600 on Monday and up 1,000 on Wednesday. It really baffles us. So the consumer doesn't even sort of process that. But the cumulative effect of tariffs, market dynamics, and interest rates, and Mueller investigation, and secretaries coming and going in the administration, I think in time can wear on the consumer, and hopefully some of that will stabilize as we get into the new year.
Bill, this is Gary Kalpam. I wanted to ask you something different. I printed out today I Googled the words defunct retailers of the United States, and it is a who's who of small, medium, big, and actually gargantuan size retailers. But Walmart continues to thrive. I think about $500 billion in yearly sales now. Can you tell fledgling retail entrepreneurs or just entrepreneurs generally, what's the difference that Walmart, what are the traits and characteristics that they have that made them thrive while others have gone by the wayside?
Yeah, that's a great question, and it's so true. People come and go from that list of retailers, and it's really difficult to stay there. What Walmart has successfully done over their 50-plus year history is reinvent itself time and time and time again. Walmart started as a 5 and 10 store and reinvented itself as a discount store, the first of its kind, and then reinvented itself as a super center, and then reinvented itself in grocery stores, and now is reinventing itself again to become digitally capable and effective online. And now they're taking it, in my view, to another place that even Amazon can't compete with, and that is having a very, very effective digital platform and still having a huge and enormous physical retail platform. And they've just successfully reinvented themselves, never been content with the status quo, and never tried to turn their business into a cash cow, not afraid to invest. And that would be my advice. Don't ever be satisfied with where you are, because a competitor will always do something better. You have to be able to react to it.
We saw that with Sears. By the way, it was extraordinary to find that there is